Hey everybody, there's just so much going on as usual, but I don't think there's anything like hugely outstanding. We're gonna go to the news. I was just checking out what I've done in the past week, and I really haven't done that much since the Chinese New Year. Um, but we're going into a new month. It'll be March pretty soon. Let's just take and look at the review of Drudge Report. Oh, you gotta reload it. It's constantly reloading itself so he gets a higher view rating. I never liked that. Anyhow, let's get rid of that. So, some of the major news. ABC is talking about the Obama-Netanyahu feud. So, let's focus on that. And 6 years. So that means they're going back to end of 2008 or end of 2009, that period. So if you remember that very clearly, that was when the real estate bubble was bursting. That was when the stock market took a hit. And it was within a year or two after that, I think, that Netanyahu and Obama met with also Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, at a conference in Mexico that was held in Baja, California, Mexico, at the resort known as Cabo San Lucas. So I was really close to there. I didn't happen to get right into town, but that's how I really remember it. And I just get the feeling that they weren't really on the same page, and I don't know who is telling them, who's ordering them, who's manipulating them. I don't think that they completely make their own decisions. Here it says at the end, paragraph, Obama has refused to meet Netanyahu during his visit, citing policy of not meeting with foreign leaders soon before their elections. It's true. They usually don't do that. So let's go to a different article, which is on the New York Times. It says White House offers rebuttal before Netanyahu's speech. Just 4 days before Netanyahu's speech at Congress. So it's a Republican Congress, and they're the ones who invited him. It's pretty amazing that this is happening in a few days. It's really coming up soon. I think they're talking about March 3rd. The Obama administration yesterday refuted the Israeli leader's expected critique, arguing it has failed to present a feasible alternative to American proposals for constraining Iran's nuclear program. So, see, it's all about Iran. It's all about Iran. I don't think it's all about that, but that's probably the main thing, because let's do a search here on Netanyahu and Iran, and we'll come up with all the top articles today. Former Israeli spy chief slams Netanyahu's handling of something. So this is a Mossad chief, a spy czar, and apparently either that's a cooked up psychological op, or maybe he really does take that stance against Netanyahu. You never know, because these people do double speak, and in the mainstream media they do news speak. So let's get into the nitty-gritty here. How can we? It's about Netanyahu's whole career being based on this. This is the face of the guy who depends on fear-mongering, the fear of Iran. He takes quotes out of context. He just keeps the magnifying glass on that. Because Iran is a formidable foe, but it's a calculated foe, and the Israeli faction under Netanyahu know that, and this is their cash cow. Okay? This is their cash cow. All this kind of posturing and propaganda and refusal to talk, refusal to get along, the nations that will not get along. So all of a sudden, neocons to the rescue. Neocons, which are basically the outward but also shadow government of the United States. They're very powerful. Gotta hand it to them. Neocons. They're trying to be hand in hand with Israel all the time because that's their attack dog in the Middle East region. So you gotta understand the neocons want to perpetuate war because war is about fear and everything. They're going directly against the provisions or the advice of FDR. You listen very carefully to FDR. He had stated that we have 4 freedoms, and the final one that he listed in his order of 4 was a fear from war, fear from bodily harm. He spoke in this clause that there should be a strategic and international arms reduction. Should be a military, disarmament. Let's go to the actual speeches and stuff here. 4 freedoms. You see it, he actually calls it freedom from fear, which is a reference to his original premise that we have nothing to fear but fear itself. So, it's in his rhetoric. He has 4 freedoms park dedicated to him, dedicated to this idea. We can even go to a video which is historic.
So to be. When the dictators, if the dictators.
Oh, that's a terrible clip. That didn't say anything that we needed it to say. Let's go to here.
Express what they wanted their countries to stand for in the eyes of humanity.
First is freedom of speech and expression. Everywhere is freedom of every person to worship God in his own way, everywhere in the world.
Number 2.
A healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants, everywhere in the world.
That's 3. Now, freedom from what? And this is number 4.
Means a worldwide reduction of armament to such a point that an act of physical aggression against any neighbor anywhere in the world.
So that was given in 1941 in the midst of the World War. And, everybody wanted peace at that point. But is that what we see going on right now with all this posturing against Iran? The neocons have everything to do. Do they picture Netanyahu here? No. So the neocons, basically they're talking about these people that are Americans or so-called Americans, internationalists, globalists, as some people call them, elitists, the global elite. These are the people that just control, they're the decision makers. They have high positions. They are project for the new American century. acronym that they use is PNAC, not to be confused with peanut. So this is a stark contrast or a departure from what FDR was talking about many years right after the great, huge war conflagration that happened in the 40s. So, I don't know. Basically, I want to wrap this up just to tell you that it's a political, geopolitical debate. It will never be solved on that level. I questioned all of it, and I think that when we really look for a solution and we want a better world, we're going to have to go to a spiritual level of things. So, that's what it's about. Thanks for watching and thinking about this. These are very, very complex issues, and sometimes we feel helpless, but just do the right thing for yourself. Be the best that you can be wherever you are locally and around those that you can call to salvation. I guess you can say that. And first, save yourself. Save yourself from sin and dishonesty and crimes and warmongering and fear. Save yourself from that. Okay? Just save yourself and call on the powers that sent you here, because you'll need them. It's only by this bond with the spiritual forces on the spiritual level of awareness that we can survive through what's going to happen. That's the only way we can live.